Yeah.
I'm also a Swedish citizen, and I'm
Swiss citizen.
Swedish.
Swedish.
A Somaliland.
Also,
You
do
look
have a
Swedish.
Somaliland.
Avi Mini for Rebel News in the Horn of Africa on our special mission for the truth about Somaliland.com. What you're about to watch is another special report from here. And if you support our mission on the ground here, please consider chipping in to help us cover the costs, including our charter flights and our armed security. Damn, this is a safe place, but that makes me feel a lot safer. The truth about Somaliland.com. Check out all our reports, support the mission, and make sure to share the truth. So you've experienced Somaliland under the British?
Under the British, although I was a child and I remember many things, but I didn't have complete knowledge of what was going on.
So under the British,
Under
then
the British,
when it was unified with Somalia?
Somalia and Siad Barre, under Siad Barre. So I was throughout.
The whole way?
Yeah.
You've been the whole history. What's the secret of Somaliland's success? Over 30 years, no one's recognized you, but you still managed to not only build it from the ground up, you were below the ground, you were massacred, but you managed to pull yourself up without any of the world's help, without even its recognition. And here you are today, a thriving democracy. What's the secret?
The secret is people, we have been oppressed so much under Siad Barre, people, they have one thing in common. If you ask, like when people came back from the refugee camps, they had this common understanding that they don't want anything to do with Somalia, for example. They want to maintain that peace, because even when the SNM, that's the Somali National Movement who liberated the country, even when they came, they said, let bygones be bygones. So they said, if we want to be peaceful, we should not take revenge on the people who were against us. If we want to be peaceful, win-win situation for them, let's forget. And that was one of the best decisions they made. Because at that time, they were so, the pain was so raw, the killings. So if they just turn it to these people, poor people, it could have been a disaster for us. So that was a good decision. And then the traditional elders of Somaliland were still, unlike the South, which are the Italians, they somehow undermined the tradition, but here it was still strong. So they managed it together with them. It was the wish of the people to stay peaceful and to never what tasted like the dictator, what smelled like the dictator, they should move away from that. So that was one thing which kept them. So that's one thing. And then they had also a tradition of pastoral, what you call pastoral democracy, which although women were outside that, but among men, there was no hierarchy. Everybody they were listening to everybody, a young person, a young 16-year, 30, 60, they would give their opinion.
Equal votes. Everyone had an equal say.
Yeah.
You speak English very well, and I've noticed across this country, people are articulate, people are educated, what's it like? You obviously got an education. What was your education, and how is it for women and generally people here to get educated?
In fact, when I was a child, and education was first introduced into this country, before, of course, when the British were there, people were suspicious of education. There were a lot of problems. When something is new, people tend to be suspicious. So but slowly, people began to understand that people, if they get education, they will build their lives. It will increase the other knowledge, because people have their own traditional knowledge, but then this other modern was something necessary. So then again, it started for the girls. But then, and of course, women are not like, people don't see men and women as equal. There are always this tendency of seeing women as lesser. So it was very difficult. When I started here in Berbera, the first 3 years, elementary school, there was, in the whole of the country, there were around 3 elementary schools for girls in the beginning. And then when they reached class 4, that's what we call intermediate grade. Then there was a boarding school in Borao. So all the girls from wherever corner in Somaliland, they will go there in a boarding school. So we're taken to those of us who were here, those from Hargeisa, from Borama, from Erigabo. There were 4 places, I think. They will take them, and then we will be in a boarding school. So that was how we would stay in the... People were still hostile, but they were beginning to understand.
Is it normal now for women to get educated?
Yeah. No problem. They can go to university. There's no problem.
Is that unique to this part of the world?
No, it's not unique. It's like in every country, girls now go to school. Although for example, in the villages, and it is still people still think of girls as working in the home and the boys to have the chance. But if you are in the city, then the family, they always, but the problem is if the family is, for example, poor and they don't have the means to send all their children to school, then definitely the girls will be less.
What are women's rights like in Somaliland?
You could say, in a way, women, they can go to school. We have no problem with working. Somali women has been known to work outside the home. And people don't see that they are not hostile to it. In fact, nowadays, the more women a family have, the more economically well-off they are. Even the diaspora Somalis who are outside, they used to say if a father had so many sons, they always felt proud. But nowadays, they say it's better to have girls because somehow they are. The way men and women are socialized, children, girls are made to be responsible at a very early age. But boys, they just go play, they are served. So when they go outside, it's that responsibility. You can see girls are more responsible, women are more responsible. And here, there are so many women, family, who maintain their families economically. And people see that as the only problem we have here is that economic independence haven't translated to political, because you see within the government it's mostly dominated by men. Very few women here, one here and there. People are still not open because that was the way tradition was. It was always the men who made the decisions in the nomadic traditional way. So girls are not that active in political.
Do they have the equal right to vote? Can they vote?
Yeah, they vote. Most of the voters are women.
Most of the voters are women?
Are women, yes.
So they're choosing men?
They're choosing men.
Do women have to cover up? I see every woman I see is covered or...
Yeah.
Do you have to cover or is that a social choice?
In fact, for example, if you are used to wearing a certain dress, it becomes part of your identity. So you don't feel like, I don't know about this, some young girls who came from outside, if they feel, they could have chosen, for example, maybe to, but because all the other people are covered. But from my side, I don't feel, I feel comfortable.
If a woman doesn't want to cover up and she walks outside, will she be in trouble or?
I think the young people around and they will say, why don't you cover your hair? She will let me the problem. She will, yeah.
So is it social pressure or is it criminal?
Social pressure.
Social pressure.
Social pressure.
So everybody just wants to fit in. You don't want to stand out. It's a very religious country, very conservatively religious country. You see women are covered up, men are praying 5 times a day, you can hear the call to prayers, but you don't have a problem with Islamic extremism. How do you do that?
For me, I don't. If you are religious, there's no problem with going to the mosque, praying. In fact, if you are a good Muslim, you are a good person, because whatever is in religion, they never tell, even other religions, it never says do this bad thing, this, so it's always good. I don't mind that. But somebody to force his personal opinion and his own interpretation on other people. That I don't. And people are vigilant. They don't like that. The majority of the people, they don't like that. So if they sense, then they don't like it.
I've heard people call it community policing. Is that what it is?
I remember once I was living in Hargeisa, and then there was an empty house, and late at night there were cartoons of some sort, some things were being, and the neighbors, they said, well, what's this Laura doing this? They called the police came, they looked at the box and it was medicines. There was a pharmacy, and he has to leave his place. And because he didn't have the chance to move the things, it was the middle of the night, not the middle, but at night, that he got this truck and he wanted to move his, to find a place of his own. So that's how vigilant people are. Without that, I think they could have, because they always thrive. They thrive in instability, and when there's unstable, then they can thrive and they can do that. But when people are peaceful and everybody has tasted the peace, then they don't want anybody to jeopardize that. So that's why they keep on vigilant and watching.
Do you think that the Western world can learn from that? I think the Islamic community in the West can have more extremists thrive than you can in Somaliland. And it sounds like it's because of that community policing that stops it. Like now we just had a terrorist attack, 2 extremist Islamists.
And I saw also New Zealand at that time. So somebody who is doing this terrorist act and harm, everybody should get involved, because if you let, but I don't know, sometimes out of fear people don't. But I think they will not find a place to hide. If people understand this person is dangerous, it could harm you, it could harm that person, so they should not live among you everywhere. People should be, everybody, even those from their own, if it's from your own country, and the world will be a better place.
Why should the world recognize Somaliland?
The world should recognize because we have a right to self-determination. And we were a country. We feel that the world is not seeing us maybe as, they think, I don't know the problem, they listen to what the Somalis say. They are afraid, I think, of problems, because there are some people who will incite problems just to prove that if Somaliland is recognized, that's our problem. Because they see if Somaliland is recognized, so they should make every effort to tell people that if Somaliland is recognized, there will be trouble in the Horn, there will be wars. In my view, the Horn would have been a better place if Somaliland is a recognized country. Economically, people should cooperate economically instead of all these frictions. The world could be a better place if people have their rights respected and they choose. And we have a reason to feel that, because as I told you, we have been a country. It was our choice because people were so emotional. They wanted the 5 Somalis, but that's a distant dream. No Somali, the people who live in Ethiopia will not form a Somali, greater Somali. Those in Kenya, they are happy there. And Somaliland and Somalia, I feel they could have been happier, they could have cooperated if they let us go. And then we also, I feel we have strategic importance also. Like the port of Berbera could feed all those landlocked places. If some people are making trouble for the world trade to go on and peacefully, then they should have a place to monitor it too. So it's good for the world.
So to help Somaliland to ensure it continues to be stable, you think strategically it protects the 850
kilometers? That's good for everybody. For the Horn, for the world, it will be good for everybody.
One country has so far recognized Somaliland. They were also the first in 1960, and it is the one Jewish country.
Yeah.
There's over 50 Muslim countries. How does it feel that a Jewish state recognized Somaliland before the other 50 Muslim countries?
Because this, I don't have any trust for these Arabs, because if they were, they could have recognized Somaliland to long time ago. But so people, Somaliland has been waiting for over 30 years, and whoever came first, they will never forget. They feel that, because when you are, people say, when a friend in need is a friend indeed. When you need someone and then that person comes, that person will not be like any other. And it's the same with the country. That country will never feel like the Somaliland people will always be grateful to.
What would you say to the Israeli people?
Thank you, thank you. And we hope that we will keep like this forever. Yeah.
What would you say to the President of the United States or the leaders of Australia, Canada, Britain now
I
with
will
regards?
say to them, be brave, don't be cowards, be brave, and see what's right and recognize Somaliland. That's my message to whoever has the courage and the dignity and the common sense. So I say, do as be brave.
If you enjoyed this report, found it informative, make sure to like, comment, share, then head over to thetruthaboutsomaliland.com, sign the petition, share the stories. And if you support our mission on the ground here, please consider chipping in to help us cover the costs. It was super expensive to get here. I think it was worth it. Plus on-ground costs, including security, including travel, including food. Everything was unbelievably expensive because of how remote and hard it is to get here. But I think this story had to be told. It's long overdue, and thanks to your help, we're getting it done. Thetruthaboutsomaliland.com.